Hello everyone, I would like to talk about the migration Ruby on Rails, which me and my team made. To begin with, I would like to say that the talk is not about technical things, but rather about our approach to this task. So this talk is like introduction to the migration talk series. I will tell about the background of the app, what we found when taking over this project, describing the old architecture and our approach to this migration, which led us to the success. In the next talks, teammates tell you exactly what difficulties they encountered during the migration specific components of this app. So 2-3 years ago we took over the project with really huge technical debt. What does it mean? It means that there weren't basically tests, poor code base, many design patterns combined together with lack of consistency, manual complicated deployment. We had to invoke one-by-one comments to make a deployment, of course on the production server, and like classic no documentation. So like, you know, we had to start from the beginning. Also the app is based on many services like Sidekick, MySQL, Postfix, Passenger Nginx, things like kind of default stack, and everything was hosted in one instance, just one dedicated server. And let's talk about the old architecture. In this diagram there are connections between components. So we have Ruby on Rails application. We have database, which has two roles. One, it acts as regular database, and the second role is for Sphinx advanced searching, because the app stores many data. We have a Sidekick for background jobs. Also there was used a supervisor for controlling Sidekick processes, stopping, bootstrapping, restarting. Of course, Redis is must-have for Sidekick. And the one of the most interesting parts was Postfix, which was responsible for retrieving forwarded Gmail emails to the app. I mean, it was a very complicated process and logic behind that, but what was the most, I think, interesting part, which Michał will tell about it more in the next talk. And for serving the Ruby on Rails app, we had Passenger together with Nginx, and for sending mails to the client was Mandrill as an email provider. So we can say that everything was working well. I think we didn't have any major issues with this infrastructure, and the client, as I remember, was paying only about $200 for the server. So if you will compare to the price to the price cloud pricing, so I think it's a cheap option. So yeah, sounds cool. Not really. If we look deeper, this solution is not reliable. It requires monitoring and maintenance. It's like a ticking bomb. We don't know when it fails, so it's potential risk for the client business. We didn't have any backups. No backups, even for config files, for app files. I mean, we had in the same server, but those backups weren't exported to the different other servers. So again, with this solution, of course, no portability. We couldn't move easily some components to different environment. Installing new libs was painful. I remember when we introduced new game, and which was dependent on the new version of some Unix library, and it was very painful to install. We had to do some manual configuration to do it. It was very risky. Of course, operations were done on the production server. And at the company, we don't deal with the server management. I would say we are not experts. We prefer use self-managed services to take care of our applications. And of course, no documentation from the previous developers about our infrastructure. So we couldn't, when server fails, we can't restore the previous configuration. It's like it's magic. So the solution is, of course, cloud. Nowadays, I think the cloud is a curve for everything. I mean, it's half seriously, but this shows that some of issues we had, the cloud solves. But on the other side, staying with the old configuration or with old infrastructure was too risky for us, and we had to move to more secure environment. So do it. But the question is how. We had a lot of questions which we encountered during the migration. Which cloud provider we should choose? Should we really go with the cloud, or maybe we should buy some virtual private servers, put Docker on it, and run? Maybe it's a good solution. We didn't know. So which solution is the best? As you can see, we have AWS, Amazon services, Heroku, Elastic, and other cloud providers. There are many options in the market. Also, we need to choose solutions which will be easy to maintain for all team members. So also you have to consider the education process for our teammates, because we didn't know before technologies which we want to use. And we used the approach of 3 steps: study, plan, and execute. And we applied it to the higher tasks, like very high abstraction task of the migration process, and applied to the normal task as well. Each stage I will explain in the next slides. So the study part, in my opinion, is the most important part. The success of the other steps, next steps, depends on this step. So basically in that step we make decisions in which direction we will go in the future. So there were many unknowns, like which cloud provider we should choose, how we should combine those technologies together. We had a lot of meetings, consulting with the experts. We did a lot of prototyping. We made comparisons, for example, in terms of cost, because this is also important from the client. And yeah, we learned a lot during this step, and I think we were growing. We are growing in this step. The next step is don't be afraid to ask questions and consult. We we were consulting with many people, even outside of the Visuality. It was very valuable for us. We learned a lot, and yes, it's worth to ask questions if we don't know something or we don't sure. And the plan part. There are a few points which we should consider in this step. I think the first step I can say that is which components should go first, which are most critical for the application. The second thing is the Murphy law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So, in my opinion, always have a fallback plan and write it somewhere. You never know what can happen to your colleague from the team. For example, car accident, and contact with such person could be impossible, and thus it will be difficult to continue his work. The next thing is it's good to assign at least two people to the task, do pair programming, especially for critical tasks. Also, thanks to that, the sharing knowledge will be smoother and easier to share the knowledge between teammates. And execute part, just do it. Just if we had research, we had a plan, just do it. Follow one by one the plan, and nothing special. And in general, the migration process was slow. We spent a lot of time on researching and preparing ourselves to this task. But thanks to that, we avoided many potential risks. And yeah, we succeed without any major mistakes. Thank you. That's all. The next talk will be about migrating this Postgres component to the AWS services together with Lambda. And probably someone will ask, what about the zero downtime migrations, availability during the migration? Fortunately, the application is used mainly during the day, and the client is in different time zone. So we had the comfort to do it without like hurry to as soon as possible to do like migration task, on which depends the availability of the app. Thank you.